benches, the one there. This is kind of like where I do some of my side type of stuff. These are all veneers for guitar sides. I do my bending at that station over there, the sides. My wood stocks are above that. Then I have these counters over here where this is the official catch-all counter. You have to have one of those. It's the way it goes. And then this one is where this is actually my clamping area where I clamp in the braces into like the tops of the guitars. And I have these rounded forms that I can set up there. And then these guys actually act as clamps, putting pressure when I'm clamping the braces to the top and all that in the back. It's called a go bar. They're fiberglass rods, flexible rods. Guitars in process are up top up there. And these are all my bending forms and building forms. Have more stuff down underneath there. There's a lot of catch-alls in here actually if you look around. Tools-wise, I kind of keep my important ones directly behind me when I'm working at their secondary importance, and then I have them filed according to whether or not it's for fretting or for sanding purposes and stuff. And kind of, around wherever I could stuff them are containers with all the various.
I like the labeling. Very
that,
organized.
I mean, I got bridges and bridge stock, dyes and stains. This is for steel wool. Pick guards, templates. There's templates for almost everything you do. So in my template container, I have my headstock, many different pick guards. I make my own pick guards, so I have to have. These are Teflon, so I can pour epoxy on it, and it peels right off.
Oh wow!
It doesn't stick.
Yeah.
So I usually set it on a piece of aluminum foil because obviously it runs around down the edges, and so I catch that, but it just peels off of that too. So I use those to make the pick guards and various other ones, bridge templates and stuff that I have. So you keep all your miscellaneous parts somewhat organized if you can. It's tough to, the hardest thing is staying organized. It really is. And then over on this side over here, I have kind of my area where I do electronic stuff. So I've got my soldering stuff set up here, and all my miscellaneous small parts, screws, switches, all that kind of stuff is all right here in front of me. Strings, I keep all my strings in bulk, so I keep my strings up above there so I can restring right here. I have an amplifier here for testing electronics, so that's right handy. And then anywhere I can stick it, I've got wood. So there's some wood underneath there. And then there's this, which this is really kind of a mixture of stuff, but some of my electronic stuff. Radius jigs for fretboards. It's for sanding fretboards to the curve, proper radiuses. And I have them in all kinds of different radiuses, you can see. And miscellaneous pieces of wood. And then these drawers are actually parts. So I've got a section for tuners, bridges and tail pieces, fret wire and truss rods is in this drawer. And I've got, pickup section and another tuner section, because I deal with both new tuners as well as restoration type stuff, where I need a lot of vintage parts. I have a whole bunch more vintage parts to go through down underneath this area. And then this is all my tops, guitar tops. These are all backs. All the sides are all up on the upper shelf up there. They're longer, so that I get them up above my head so I don't walk into them all the time. And binding stock and that sort of stuff. And then I have a separate shop area, if you follow me this way. It's not very photogenic at the moment, Greg. You could have gone ahead and done a cleanup, Anyway.
Your studio lackey.
This is kind of my dirty area, nearby dirty area. So saws, small band saw, table saws out here. Sanders are out here. I got an air compressor set up out here because this is actually where, if I'm spraying lacquer, I spray it out here so that I'm not stuck inside breathing and stuff. that. I usually hang, there it is right there, the guitar hanger right there. And then I used to spray in the tree, and we used to have real fun with that. What did we call it again? The spray tree. We call it the spray tree. Because I used to hang them off of that one branch and do that. That's to close off that. See that kind of trapezoidal shape? I'm gonna cut that out of that, put that in there, and close that off that way. No, I know. I got it off of some job. And I've also got the material now stacked. I'm going to put a wall here.
Oh, wall here.
Closed off. I have this door right here. I'm going to put in right here. This opening is going to get closed off because I'm actually going to put the door in right here. So I don't have to go outside to go in here. So relax this and close shop area. Anyway, so and I've just created this new area over here, which is actually for I'm now doing laminated sides, and so I had to come up with a way to laminate in a press of some sort. I wanted to go ahead. It's fully my intention to use the vacuum press eventually for this, but at the moment I'm gluing with epoxy, and epoxy doesn't compute with the vacuum press. So what I do is I put them in. I put the glue on it. You know, it's 2 layers, so you have one layer and the other layer. I put oil over this. I put the glue on them, stick them together, close that down, weight this down with this block which pulls tension on the strap, and then I have a clamp that goes in right at the waist, and I pull that in, and that presses everything together so that I can laminate the sides. So that's what this station area is for right now. Eventually, right now I only have 2 big anyway, so that part of the shop, lead us on through there. Follow that man, that masked man. No, this way. We're not done with the shop yet.
Hidden shop.
How many times have you been here? Once? Twice? Okay, so this shop area is my big sander, my big planer, my big dust collector. My joiner is behind there, my really big bandsaw for doing splitting the wood into book match sets and stuff. All that stuff's in here. Of course, there's more wood. Did I mention there's a lot of wood around here? There's more up there, and there's a whole bunch over on that side over there. Then there's a whole pile of it underneath there. It's like it's everywhere I look. It's like I had an addiction of some sort or something to this stuff. So anyway, those are all empty guitar cases. That's why I stockpile the empty guitar cases. And these are guitars that we currently have on reverb. So that's our shipping area for angelfish guitars. And yeah, there's wood everywhere. What you looking for, Greg? He's a man on a mission.
Tell them about your Brazilian veneer.
What don't you know about it?
No, tell her about your Brazilian veneer.
Well, the veneer came from there's a hardwood store over Thousand Oaks area, and a friend of mine who's also a guitar builder, he's located just a couple doors down from this particular place. So he had friends there and stuff, and they said, "Hey man, you got to come in and check this out." We just picked this up off of a guy that was in a storage unit since the 60s, I think. There's 2 pallets, literally big, huge pallets that were stacked with veneer and solid stock. The solid stock is this stuff here, which is actually, now I forget the name of it. Palo Escrito, is that it? Greg? Palo Escrito, or what? Rosewood from, I think it's from South America somewhere.
Brazil,
This one here. It's what I made the table out of. Yeah. I don't remember what. Pal Ferro. That's what it is. Pal Ferro. Anyway, it had that in it. It had some actual solid stock Brazilian rosewood in it. And then it had a ton of Brazilian rosewood, Madagascar rosewood, ebony, almost every exotic you can imagine in veneer. And the veneers had been sitting for so long that they were all split apart, damaged from being so dry. And then they're very, very ripply.
Yeah.
But if you look at that right there, I believe this one was Madagascar rosewood. Yeah, BR, this is Madagascar. I mean, Greg, could you find a Madagascar like that nowadays?
No, not with the figure.
I mean, and I've got tons of it. That's Brazilian right there. It's just, and I mean, it's amazing Brazilian.
And both are on CITES.
Most stunning stuff you could
So you
ever
can't-
imagine.
you
And
can't
I've been trying,
sell it.
since I
Right.
got it, I've been trying to figure out how am I going to use this for. You can see how much is around.
Right.
I could build several, I know thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, I don't know, guitars with what I got here in veneer. So this is what I've come up with. Come on back inside.
This is what we're talking about, that versatility.
All right, so. So this is my latest version. And this is using the Brazilian rosewood veneer as the outside. And I actually have done this. This was actually the first one I did. I used matching veneer on the inside, and then I used this other material right here, which I'm not sure what it is. I think it's Indian rosewood, but I'm not positive. But it's extra thick, and when it's just flat, it's very floppy. But I found that when I bend it, and it bends like butter, it never breaks. Bends like butter. When I bend it, it suddenly becomes stiff and rigid. And so I used that as my center veneer on this one. Then I tried, because that came, I mean, you could probably stand on this thing and it would hold
Wow.
up your weight. It's so freaking strong. Then I went to this method. Also Brazilian rosewood veneer, but a much darker piece, really dark piece. And on this one, I just did 2 layers. So this is that wood that I just showed you as the inner layer with the veneer as the outer. And even it's super stiff. So I don't know that I even need to have that other than to try and make it look like it's made out of solid, but why hide it? Why hide the fact that you're using veneer? It's a great thing. So this is my last one I just did. And so this one has just that as the inside, and then the really nice Brazilian as the outside.
Nice tap already, you can tell.
Oh, they're rigid as can be. And yeah, this stuff stiffens up so much when I couldn't believe it. I bent it, I'm like, pull it out of the bender. This was rubber when I put it in there. How did it become this kind of stiff stuff? But anyway, so, but that's what that's all about. And now finally, if I can perfect this and get it to where I can get it to work on a regular basis, I'll have something to do with all that veneer. Because I have enough of even the thicker stuff. I've been looking through because I discovered that in the stack, and most of it's 23 thousandths, but this stuff here is like 50 something thousandths, twice as thick. It's very unusual for a veneer. Nowadays, veneer is like 10 thousandths. It's half the thickness of the stuff that I'm using here. It's half the current now is half that thickness. So this stuff is really cut a long time ago, old stuff, and tap tones are great, sounds great, makes great instruments. Drums could be made out of it, all kinds of stuff could be made out of it. But I have tons.
Where's your P35?
Okay. So I just joined this back. That's the inside, I think.
That's pretty cool.
Greg? Optimum when you're tapping wood is right about in this point right here.
Where's that really dark piece of,
I'm getting it.
that's the one I like.
Okay, well, this one was also one that you liked, but I think you like the darker one even better. But this one's one that goes with that rim right there.
Okay.
But the dark one,
Do a tap on that one.
Oh.
like a marimba. It's right in
The
this
top
area.
has
You
a
just kinda
melody
move
in
your
it,
finger
yeah.
a little bit around, and you hit a point where it just has the best resonance. And the real thing that you're listening for, both tone, you're listening for the tone, okay, whether it's you're giving a full spectrum or just bass oriented or treble oriented. But the main thing you're listening for is the duration. How long does it ring? So usually I'll have it like right up to my ear and just, I mean, that was almost a several seconds of ring. Most times you'll tap it and gone.
Right.
That's not going to be your best, especially for the way I build, because I try to utilize the back to the tone as much as the top. Most people just build it so stiff that the back doesn't really do much. I like it to actually do something. Yeah. So and then this is my office area. So this is where I keep all the guitars that are in process of repairs and such, and then also fish guitars that are in the process of final. This one's going to almost in the final setup. I'm just finishing up with the French polish on it. It's got a pretty nice looking back on it too.
Wow. Gorgeous veins.
And this one is actually a bit older. And it's this is some rosewood that again came with those pallets of of veneer. This particular veneer was actually thick enough to be able to be solid sides and back. So the sides and back on this are solid, and it's a rosewood from Brazil called Louro Preto. I mean, this guitar sounds really cool. There. That around.
Bright. But not just bright, rich.
Goes on.
Yeah. The ring.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that. I love that wood. It's actually, and I mean, I bought the pallets, rented a shop just right next door to, basically right next door to my friend Bill's guitars, in that same unit he was in. I think they charged me $600 a month. And I was in there for 2 months. I was in there. Rick and I were in there for 2 months. Poor Rick, he'd go home every night and spend like hours removing the pieces of wood that were now lodged in his hands.
Splinters.
Because this stuff, because it's so dry, and it was abused, so it was splintering all over the place. And it's rosewood. It's hard stuff. It goes in like a knife. So yeah, he was having fun with it. But we were over there for 2 months cutting the stuff down because it was literally 16-foot long knives. If I would have kept them in their full length, I think they would be priceless. Of course, priceless was the way I got them. But I cut everything down into guitar size wood.
Right.
So, like in here, this is another, this wood everywhere. In here, I have these bundles here. I think this is Brazilian rosewood. That is, yeah, this is back length. There's another bundle down here that's side length, so it's 36 inches. These are 24, the others are 36. I've got Indian rosewood. Indian rosewood that is like perfectly straight, old growth, straight grain. The most gorgeous Indian rosewood you've ever seen. I got stacks of it there, and all cut to those lengths and sizes. So it's like, before I die, I gotta come up with something to do with this stuff. So. But anyway, so and then
I think you found some pretty good uses.
and then we have the carry added. So we got the couches and the stool, which he was sitting on one there, and then the what is it called again? Leslie
Cabinet?
And then one of these, I think it was this one, this Corvette that came with that as well.
And who was Carrie?
Carrie was an amazing, I could say two things. He was an amazing upholsterer and working with leather or any of the naga hides or any of that kind of stuff. And whatever Tolex, whatever coverings he used on amps, and all the little trims, the pipings on corners and things like that. He was an artist with that sort of stuff. And then he was like a crazy everything guy. He was into everything. Everything. I mean, his place was loaded with, it was the most bizarre collection of things, including the one I loved was the grill off of, what was it, a Chrysler or something from the 30s. It was this ornate chrome grill, probably nickel, not chrome, grill off of a car from the 30s that was just like amazing. But he was just into all kinds of crazy stuff and knew it because of his talent.
He was the best amplifier cabinet builder.
Cabinet builder for sure, yep. Yep. So, and I mean, not that I use it as much as I should, because Greg can yell at me when he sees this thing. You know, he made this cover, so you know, it's naga hide or whatever it is. Or is that like some kind of? Yeah, it's a naga hide, but yeah, for the little bogan over here. You know, I did have it uncovered because I was playing with it. Because you have to do that every now and again. It burns off the dust.
Thank you very much, Eric, for showing us inside your world. The shop that makes it happen. Great hangout place with my dad.
It's where I have the most fun, for sure.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Okay. Actually, I was building a custom guitar for John's daughter, Serena, and she wanted something with a cross and a heart. And so that was my first attempt at what I could come up with. And then I actually ended up, let me see, I know I can bring that picture up pretty good, I think. Albulums. Maybe not so easy. Anyway, I came up with a whole different
something else,
that was, yeah, it was way nicer. Actually, let me go back to my photos, and I wonder if I can get back to my earliest years. Okay, here we go. Back to the early version, and I think I'll find it. Here we go. So that's what it ended up being.
Oh, wow. Cross with the heart.
Yeah, and then her name in the thing at the top, Serena. Foster.
Wow. Talk about a custom.
And then what I did was, because obviously, where was I going to put the fish logo? So I went ahead and put the fish logo on the pick guard.
Nice.
But that was my first attempt at it. So you can see my second attempt was far better. I don't know what made me do the first attempt, but you know.
Stick it on the wall.
Too much beer that night. Anyway.
Oh, I never noticed that before. That's cool.
This is new.
Ah.
Mr. Foster. Did you see the one over there? Still not seeing it. A blind guy.
Oh, I see it. You need to stain that bark. The fish stands out more.
Oh, say 1953, I think. Gibson L5 with a quilted maple back and sides and spruce top that has had a couple of issues. One is that it was broken here and here, probably because of a shot to the neck. Somebody had put a bolt on the neck to hold it in place. Anyway, so I popped the neck off of it. And the idea originally was to try and do a sunburst finish on it. And now we're talking about painting it black. Leaving all the binding and everything, all the white showing, of course, but painting it black. And then doing a cast pickguard, because this would have had a really nice pickguard on it. It would have been pretty large. And Rick already ordered the inlay. It's a rose inlay. Where did we go, Rick? There, Rick. This one here. I think it's the second one from this side.
Yeah, I like that.
The second one.
And it's a pretty large inlay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast the pickguard like I do my other pickguards with the epoxy resin, but cast the inlay in it face down. So when it's all done, the inlay will be inset in epoxy. I don't have to inlay anything.
I don't know if I like the stem on that.
He did.
You did?
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and figure out when I get it, because it hasn't shown up yet. It's probably shipping from Vietnam. But when it gets here, I'm going to check it out and see. That'll determine what kind of coloring I want to do on the actual pickguard material itself. We may want to do the pickguard in white or in some kind of lighter shade like that will show off that stem as well as still show off the white of the flower. So maybe a cream color or something. But I got to see the actual inlay to find out. Because it can be any color. It's mainly that I'm going to replicate this binding around it. Because that's what's going to create the dam that I pour the epoxy to. That's what will keep it from running over. So, anyway, it's a cool guitar. And the problem is, see this area where the pencil is?
Hmm.
Somebody, they took the pickguard off, and when they played, they set their hand like that, and they had long fingernails. And so over time, they just chewed away the top through here. And so there's a little canyon in there.
Little groove.
Because we're going to paint it black now, I can actually go ahead and hollow that out, clean it up, and put a filler piece of spruce in there and bring it back up to the height it's supposed to be. So that actually under the black finish, it'll all have been repaired properly. So that's the reason why the black is such a popular idea, even though your father doesn't like it at all.
I think it's okay.
Now he thinks it's okay. All right. Well, I'm hoping that when it's done, you'll think it's outstanding. That's this guitar is moving in the finished stages. This is again that Royal Prater rosewood. I like the accordion.
You're deaf.
See at this point right here, you hear the fingers rubbing across?
Yeah, that's what Tommy does, right?
Yeah.
A manual?
But it tells you how responsive it's going to be. Good, good. Anyway, what else? Questions, answers, stories, suggestions.
I mean, I know we could go all night.
Yeah, the story. I mean, I haven't even gotten into my dad. That was my old dog Charlie, painted by my dad.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned him at lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the artwork you see in here, painting of me, my dad. Seascape, my dad. The western scene over there, my dad. Paintings down there, my dad.
A musket.
Oh. This is another. See,
Oh, that's
we
cool.
have a lot of these issues. This musket here. My father was good friends with a guy who was a gunsmith in Tennessee, and when they were shooting the movie The Last of the Mohicans with Daniel Day-Lewis, he supplied the firearms
Oh, wow.
for the movie. I think he was actually the guy who handled, how the woman who got killing. He was that on that movie, I believe, the guy who was in charge of guns. Anyway, there's a scene in that movie where Daniel Day-Lewis is in the midst of a battle and he yells for somebody to throw him a musket. And they have to throw it at him and he catches it. Well, a real musket is heavy, sharp.
Knock you down.
It could knock you, it could injure you, and when you're getting paid, or well, not what you're getting paid, what the whole crew's getting paid amounts to like $1 million a day. You being injured and unable to film is not a good thing. So they
Prop.
said, can you get us a gun that looks like the real thing but doesn't weigh anything? So he called up my dad. Said, I think you could make something like. So my dad did. He made 2 of them. The one was actually used in the movie. That's the other one.
Very cool.
So it's an aluminum barrel. It's all like balsa wood and carved and crazy dad. Anyway, the good pictures are out here. So that's he really liked the mountain. He ended up out in the mountains of North Carolina in his last years. He really liked the mountain scene. And he painted this one for me. That was a request. He normally didn't paint that size.